No, my question as it relates to the nasty business vibe. I noticed like explicitly y'all never really dabbled into that type, that kind of nasty business wave. Why not?
Well, to be honest, I feel like one of the main ways to succeed in music is knowing who you are, what you represent, and then the last part and the important part is knowing what the people want from you. You know, and we built a brand with for music that was, I don't want to say it's opposite, but because the music kind of the same, you know, it's Bouyon music we're playing, but our lyrical content was always well crafted, and that's what we realized that the people appreciated from us and continued. So over the years, when we realized that the people was really like, when they hear Shelly and Signal Band, they think lyrical craft, they think high quality. We're like, we have to keep that brand alive and make sure that we stay focused on that. Nasty Business Wave came in, and you know, a lot of the people, a lot of artists kind of shift their perspective because they were like, yo, I need that instant book, I need that instant success.
Wherever you're headed in St. Kitts or Nevis, SKN Cabs gets you there quickly, safely, and hassle-free.
Well, girl, where you going? You got a suitcase?
Girl, I'm going on a little trip here, so I come get me here fix up.
Oh, well, you got a lift to go to the airport?
Me, girl, no, you know. Will you cook here me? Are you nobody who could drop me?
Girl, you got an app called SKN Cabs.
SKN Cabs?
It's an app where you could book rides to go anywhere, even if you want to go down in town and pay your bill. You could use it.
Yeah.
All you have to do is go on. Where you got Apple?
Yeah, I got Apple.
So on the App Store.
Booking with SKN Cabs is easy. Enter your pickup and drop-off locations. Select your payment method and get connected to a driver. Simple, fast, and reliable.
The driver has arrived.
Oh, just on time.
Yes, just on time indeed. You know, I'm early for my flight. Would you like to go for lunch?
Sure.
We could go to Zanzi.
Of course.
Yeah, let's go.
From everyday rides to luxury travel, we've got the perfect ride for you. Book in seconds, ride with ease, and enjoy the convenience you deserve. Download the SKN Cabs app today from the Play Store or App Store and stay connected with us on WhatsApp, Facebook, or Instagram at SKN Cabs. SKN Cabs, transportation made easy.
I tolerate men.
We live in a risky world, you know? Yeah. That's what I can say. And, you know, we explore.
Men should always spend on a woman.
Appreciation is a big mark.
Officially, welcome back or welcome to another episode of the Perspectives podcast. Today we're there with a superstar, international superstar. I'm the leader of one of the biggest bands, biggest touring bands within the Caribbean space, within Bouyon music. The man himself, Mr. Shelly. Oh God.
Yeah, man. It's an honor to be in St. Kitts, and you know, it's an honor to see you at home now and be chatting at home. So thanks for the warm welcome, and looking forward to chatting, man.
Yeah. Well, it's highlighted in the press conference that this is your first time in St. Kitts and Nevis, and you're coming here with your first time being on the biggest stage in St. Kitts.
Right.
How does that feel for you?
Yeah, no pressure, but all the pressure at the same time, you know, and it's what we work for at the end of the day. I think it's a good problem to have if you want to look at it as a challenge, because as I said, we've been thinking about, you know, how can we get into the St. Kitts market and all of that, because I think it took a while generally for Bouyon music to penetrate St. Kitts. But last year we were looking at the islands, we've been in the Caribbean, and we were like, our eyes on St. Kitts. And you know, we have been having some inquiries and some interest, but it's just interesting and great to be introduced the St. Kitts people through the music festival, you know, such a big show, and I look forward to that.
Yeah. Speak to me a little bit about your background. Like, what was it like for you growing up in Dominica?
Well, you know, I grew up in a small home in Goodwill, in a community called Goodwill. That's where the hospital in Dominica, in the main hospital is. So that's where everybody born in Goodwill, kind of. I mean, most people. Some people born in the community health centers and all of that. But it's sort of close to the capital, so kind of central. And, you know, I had a pretty normal, very normal upbringing, you know, living with my grandmother and my mother, my grandmother, my aunties, people who took care of me in the early stages of my life, you know, while mommy was at work. Yeah, but, you know, the main people, mommy, granny and auntie. And right now, you know, I've sort of grown to represent the community and the country even more. But even when I was at that age, all I did really was play football, go to school and do music. When I say do music, it was at a very amateur elementary level. But the interest was there from a very young age, you know, just hitting on the table with some of the guys that we started Signal Band with. You know, we were childhood friends, so we grew up in the same area, and we were just spending our days, our afternoons and our summers together. And that's how we really started engaging in music. And then, you know, it turned from being just hitting on the table and singing tracks to then having some equipment and some instruments to then now touring internationally.
Right. But what was music like in Dominica at that time? Like growing up, what was it like for Bouyon music? Because traditionally, we would only see Asa Bantan being dominant, and then maybe a little bit of Triple K, not inside of Dominica, but from an outside perspective,
that's
it
true.
would only be Asa Bantan predominantly touring and so on. So what was it like in the interior of Dominica musically at that time?
I mean, the music changed so much here, to be honest. We had, when the music started off, you know, it was created by WCK, and in the first years of when, you know, I was probably just starting music, the space was still dominated by WCK, and WCK did a good stint. I mean, they're still there doing their thing, but not really at the forefront of the game, you know, kind of low now, laid back and doing things that matter to them, you know, when it matters to them. And then for a great period, you know, because we have a very band culture, Bouyon band culture in Dominica.
I feel like St. Kitts and Dominica is similar.
Very similar in terms of that.
Yeah.
You know, the band culture is very serious. Honestly,
that's serious.
Like serious. You know, and the artist culture started being a thing through people like Asa Bantan. You know, but the band culture was a thing. So when WCK kind of passed the baton to Triple K, and Triple K was running the show for years, you know, and Asa Bantan came on as an artist and was running the show for years. And, you know, through talent and through, you know, him being one man, it was easier for him to get the music out there and travel and say, you know, I can bring it there, rather than, you know, trying
because one man is easier to bring than a
10,
whole man.
you know, so that worked out in the advantage. And, you know, these guys, Asa Bantan, Triple K, WCK, they played a great part in getting the music out there, even before the viral Bouyon wave came in, you know, that they were, exactly. You know, they were doing the groundwork. So the Lady Foundation, people were familiar with the sound, you know, people were familiar with the vibe, the country, and then Nasty Business come and take that shit viral.
So your introduction to music was what? Like your professional introduction to music?
My professional introduction to music was for Calypso. You know, I sang Calypso in primary school and, you know, started winning competitions. I won the Junior Calypso Monarch in Dominica 3 times in a row, and then take a sit back to do CXC and all of that. So that was in high school days. All that time I was just doing Calypso. Even when Signal Band started, you know, I was about 13, 14 years old when we started Signal Band. I don't know shit. Like, I don't know what I was doing, you know, but at that time I was playing guitar, you know, because I also play the guitar. I was playing guitar in Signal Band when we started off, and there was some point where the band, you know, kind of pushed me to be the image and the lead singer. And that was the life-changing decision, you know, when I transitioned from Calypso to Bouyon, and since then, I didn't sing Calypso again. Once I started doing Bouyon, I write Calypso, you know, for Calypsonians in Dominica. But I sing predominantly Bouyon music.
You say something that's important. The band push you as the lead singer, right?
Yeah.
With other bands, like for example Triple K, I can't really, from an outsider perspective, I can't really differentiate like who is the lead singer. I don't know. Through me learning more about the band, I would have recognized more of a Benji as the leader.
Yeah.
Whereas Signal Band now develop Shelly as an artist.
Right.
More of Shelly as an artist and Triple K, not Triple K, Signal the band. So is that something conscious?
Yeah, very conscious. It didn't start like that. You know, when it started off, we had other singers in the band as well. And, you know, though it was still, I feel like it was still a central focus on Shelly, you know, being supported by the other singers, big up to them. And the reason behind that was because the subconscious side of it was that, remember I started saying Calypso, and I think one of the things about Calypso and the Calypso competition is that you're forced to be an artist, you know, meaning you have to go on that stage by yourself. And the band that playing the Calypso is just a backing band. Right. And you have to deliver and you have to entertain the crowd because it's not about the keyboardists, it's not about them, they're accompanying you. So that's how I started. And that was a huge part in realizing that people come out to see artists, you know, and the band support. And it's always easier when you have a band that is humble, you know, not really clout chasing, not fame chasing. And that's what Signal Band is. Like, these guys just want to play music, you know, so they literally, the conscious side now is them giving me the wings to say, Shelly, pull the band forward, because that's another thing. It's a push and pull thing. I hear sometimes when band have free singers, you know, you hear man saying, boy, the band only pushing one man. The band only pushing this man.
And that cause
you know, friction. But bro, the reality is bands don't push man. Man have to pull band. The lead singers have to pull the band forward. And that was the realization for me. I was like, yo, this is not about me waiting for the band to push me. You know, I have to be the artist and I have to be the one that connects with the audience and pull these guys with me. And that was like the change in experience for us, and now we actually officially rebranding to Shelly and Signal Band because of that.
I like that, you know, because again, like the more you develop as an artist is the more the band develops in itself. Because something when we sit to like the band can actually back almost any artist.
And you see for yourself.
Yeah, in concert, I was surprised Kerwin Dubois not even rehearse. And the way how the band backed him, I said, yo, it's like, it reminded me of how dancehall culture is in Jamaica, where you have a band like Rough Cut who would back everybody and anybody, you know. So, yeah, very versatile in that. But as it relates to your journey now, where was the breakout? Because my introduction to you was the song, Tell me if the
band Tell me if the coast is
what was your breakout in Dominica?
You know, there were two breakout moments. Locally, around the hurricane time, Hurricane Maria hit Dominica 2017 September. At that time I was studying. I was doing a degree in architecture, and I was in Maryland. Hurricane hit. And, you know, all our equipment got messed up, and, you know, already guys' house flooding, roofs off, all of that. You know, got contacted the guys, found out that they were all alive. That was the most important thing. And then we start figuring out, okay, what is our task in sort of psychologically building back the people for music? You know, what can we offer? And we were like, yeah, you know, we need to do a song to unite the people and all of that. And we did a song called Annie by Your Love, which you probably don't know. But the importance of that song is, we were a very young band at that time, but Annie by Your Love made every single household in Dominica know who Signal Band was. So on a local level, you know, it was a slower song. We stood on the tempo.
Can you sing a piece of that for me?
Started something like, sometimes I wish that I could make a difference, but it's just a wish. So I need fairy godparents, like Timmy Turner. I need me a Cosmo and Wonder. Never will I be Michael Jackson, but love is a drug and we need it to heal the world, to make it a better place for every woman, every man, every child, every boy, every girl, every color, every race. We're taking this message of Bouyon love out to the world. Maybe I'm just too young, or love disappeared before I was born. I miss my granny, because surely she would tell me. And then, you know, the chorus would talk about how we just giving people love. And what that song did was unite Dominica after Hurricane.
Because that was kind of emotional. You connect with
connection. And the song lived on because the technique there was, though it was a song after the hurricane, we never mentioned a hurricane. We never mentioned Dominica. We never mentioned the year. We just wanted it to be a timeless song with no borders. And that was the breakthrough in Dominica. The On My Way, the side life was the breakthrough in the Caribbean. And every single Caribbean island at that time was singing, baby, tell me if the bad not there. Tell me if the coast is clear, cause I'm on my way.
That was like a big song. But at that time, when that song broke, I feel like the broader Caribbean didn't really put the face or the brand to the song. The song, at that time, the song was bigger than Yeah. So now, we say from that song, y'all would have came in strides year after year for Carnival. Then we have this big wave of nasty business. Now, my question as it relates to the nasty business vibe, I noticed like explicitly, y'all never really dabbled into that type, that kind of nasty business wave. Why not?
Well, to be honest, I feel like one of the main ways to succeed in music is knowing who you are, what you represent, and then the last part and the important part is knowing what the people want from you. You know, and we built a brand with for music that was, I don't want to say it's opposite, but because the music kind of the same, you know, it's Bouyon music we're playing, but our lyrical content was always well crafted, and that's what we realized that the people appreciated from us and continued. So over the years, when we realized that the people was really like, when they hear Shelly and Signal Band, they think lyrical craft, they think high quality. We're like, we have to keep that brand alive and make sure that we stay focused on that. Nasty Business Wave came in, and you know, a lot of artists kind of shift their perspective because they were like, yo, I need that instant book, I need that instant success.
Then it kind of blow up like time. Kenny G, Suki,
Ridge,
all of them would start really traveling and so on. So were you never tempted to dabble a bit in?
No, to be honest, and you know what's interested? You know, I'm friends with all these guys, you know, you know, Kenny G, we have Kenny G and I have a song together, you know, Ridge is my boy, and the other day Suki tell me how to do something. But I feel like these guys, you know, same way I respect what they do, they respect what I do. And that is very important because I know it works for them. I know personally, especially in Dominica, the Caribbean might see it differently. But if I were to drop a Nasty Business next week, people are going to listen to that.
No.
People are going to be like, that's not Shelly brand, you know, the Shelly brand, they see that's something different.
People would be more disappointed than
to be honest, you know? And is a respecting because these same people will jump to the Nasty Business. And I respect that too because music is a combination of the message and the messenger. And you have to go hand in hand. So while they might like the message when they fit in, the messenger for that message is Ridge and Kenny G and these guys. Shelly, they want a different message from me as a messenger. So that's what.
Yeah. Because you have built that brand. But see people who don't have an identity and just go here, there, and everywhere, they get lost.
They get lost, yeah.
You know what I mean? So I admire that about y'all. You know what I mean? Like I feel like in St. Kitts there's Grandmaster's Band where you have other bands like Sugar Band and so on, but Grandmasters was always the kind of, you know, for the ladies type band. They get raunchiest, but y'all would be like the sweethearts then. You know what I mean? I feel like that's why y'all are doing music. So between those times, right, you would have found some songs like what was the name? The song where I say Coming Home,
I'll be there for you.
I'll be there for you. One of my favorite songs of yours is the song where I say the Rest in Peace song. When I'm gone too soon.
Angels in the Sky.
Angels in the Sky.
Yeah.
So that in that song and a lot of your music you speak about the loss of your grandmother. How did that affect you?
Yeah, I mean, as I told you, I grew up with my grandmother, and she died in a year that I was kind of just rising to stardom, even on a junior calypso. That's what the year I won my first junior calypso crown, 2009, is when she passed away. And one of the last things I said, I can only say said, one of the last things she asked me to do was to sing that song that I won with to her before she passed. And that was kind of the last exchange we had, was me singing that song about, it was a song about paros, which is vagrants. I don't know what they call them in St. Kitts, but the local name for them is paros. Just vagrants roaming the street. And it was a song saying that we have too many vagrants roaming the street. And I sang that for her, and always after she closed her eyes. And that was the first part of like me experiencing loss. And then the second after that was my father, which I mentioned in Angels in the Sky. And he's another person that believed in every part of any dream that I had. And so I know that I had to just keep on going, because those were the serious moments of loss for me. But there's so many other things to gain that I just have to keep on going, and you'll never forget them, reference them in song and keep them with me. Yeah.
Right. Now, as it relates to the music, your career in the Bouyon space now, is it safe to say Signal Band fully arrived this year for Carnival? Like, everything would have came to fruition this year?
You know what? The arrival has been a long time coming. We have been criticized to be a band that was strong on the stage. People feel like we're a band, we're a festival band. We perform well on stage, we deliver. And so much so that for the past 2-3 years of the World Clay Music Festival, like, we have had the most talked about performance every year. Even amongst regional and international artists. And that always felt like a partial arrival. It felt like, people not respecting when we go on a truck on the road, like people not respecting us on the road. And I try not to get distracted by that for many years, because I tell myself, Carnival is only 2 days in the year. There are 365 days in the year. Even if you put it as weekends, there are 52 weekends in the year. Carnival is like one weekend, but that's in Dominica at least. But even when we tally the amount of trucks we perform on for the year, we perform on 90% stage and about 10% on a truck. So I was trying not to get distracted by that. But overall, I was getting tired of people saying that Signal Band not good on the road. So this Carnival that just passed, the band, we sat down and we felt like this Carnival is going to be over here. We literally make the conscious effort to make music that was Carnival palatable, and that come with kind of simplifying. Our music can be complicated at times. Our music has depth, it's almost like listening to people like J. Cole, in rap, the depth. So,
whereas traditionally it's more jump up.
It's more jump up. So honestly, that kind of changed the vibe. But for Carnival, we have to make the conscious decision. Let us simplify and let us think bacchanal. Let us think mashing up the place. And
fed up.
Let's come with fed up and rags and things that in the Carnival space will do well. And that changed the game, no longer being seen as the festival band, and all of that. We are the band.
Speaking of the band, there is a controversial statement to make, given the fact that Triple K might say they're the band. You know what I mean? So, on the road, you would say y'all had the biggest crowd this year.
But I don't really watch it as crowd this year. This year I watch it as impact,
the biggest impact.
I watch it as impact. And to be honest, if I were to start to count the people like grain of rice, maybe I might get a very close number, or I might even see that Signal Band had an edge. But I'm not even watching the numbers, bro. Like, honestly, I'm watching the impact, because that's why we put in the work for the impact. The reason I don't get distracted by the numbers too is because even if I had 10,000 people, this is a business. And even if I had 10,000 people behind my truck, 10,000 of them not paying $1 to job, and we have swayed into thinking of Carnival as a business too. So even if the music, everything that we do on Carnival on Monday and Tuesday is owned by us. Like, we have our own Juve band, we have our own Monday night band, we have our own costume band. So for me, once we can get impact, get people to enjoy themselves and get people to register and pay money, I feel like we win.
Right. Now, is Bouyon music, are the artists and entertainers of Bouyon music united?
United, to a certain extent we are. I think things are changing now. We were at a time where we will all just hustle in, and every, like, the littlest of success that one person would get would probably make them feel like, okay, I am the one to represent the music and everybody else follow me. But no, because we're in a time where so many of us getting through, you know, and we all making money, you know, we all thinking we doing our thing. That is less about the grudge and one man feel better than the other. You know, right now it's safe to see everybody doing their thing, you know, and that's important. You know, we still have rivalries around the things going on. You know, guys have their personal things, maybe from past experiences and all of that. But in terms of unity, and I always see unity doesn't mean that we have to be friends. Right. My unity is we need to have a common vision, you know, and if we have a common vision, that means we're united in thought and we're united in the vision. So that is the first importance. It's not about friends and let's go have a drink on a Friday, you know, but I would say honestly, now is a good space in terms of the energy amongst Bouyon artists. Everybody doing their thing, everybody making money. Money is the biggest motivator. Once people making money, they're happy.
Yeah, man, once the money right, everything right.
Yeah, man.
Money talk, money take out.
Yeah, man.
And I feel like you're a very well-spoken person, you know what I mean? Half the times artists can't articulate themselves properly. They have the thoughts, but they don't know how to say it, you know what I mean? I feel like you have a bright future in music. So what's next for you?
Well, bro, honestly, you know, I'm fully committed to the music, and I'm ready to break down barriers that us as a band haven't broken down. Like I told you, we were planning and seeing territories that we haven't been and figuring out, okay, how can we get there? How can the music get there before us? Because that's also important, you know. If the music get there first, it's better for you, you know. So we're trying to get the music out there, and that's gonna involve doing more music. Just the volume, you know, have to increase, but also, you know, strategic collaborations to, you know, high class music videos and all of that. So, like, honestly, the music, people see the music as something simple, but so many little things gonna make build up to success.
And a lot of people don't know what makes it work.
Right.
Like just the other day I was having a conversation about like why we can't see our local artists here in St. Kitts break internationally, and the conclusion I come to is they don't know what really makes a song a hit song, what really make the music work. It's a lot more than just singing a song and putting it
It's a science.
There's a lot of science behind it.
Yeah.
And something I admire with Signal Band too, everywhere you go, y'all have a dedicated videographer with y'all. Some quality graphics and content, you know. So a lot of artists, me not see that with them, you know. So I feel like y'all very well rounded. You know what I mean? Anything else you want to talk to the people about?
I mean that important. The roundedness important and often underestimated in the music. Like guys feel like certain things not important. You know, we feel like, boy, I have an iPhone, I can just get to somebody to take a video for me. But the reality, the music is a multi-billion-dollar industry. But you can only get a good chunk of that pie if you take things serious like the people at the top. You know, it's just like in finance and all of that. And the people at the top, it's not just about the music, you know, it's that ecosystem around them, is the videographers, the publicists that are around them, you know, the management behind the scenes, the engineers. It's not an artist doing everything for himself. And some of the artists and bands, we want to be the manager, we want to be the videographer too, we want to be the one that posts on social media, we want to be the bus driver if you can be that too. And bro, like you cannot do it all.
Burn out yourself, right?
You check? You have to, honestly, you cannot burn out yourself, and you just, first of all, we just don't know it all, even before burn out. Like, so the videos that I take on my iPhone versus the video that my videographer take for me, it's two different videos. You know, some people might feel like iPhone has a good camera, but he understands the science.
You understand how to compose the shots, you understand how to tell a story, you understand like the little intricate details that you have to focus on the music. But his job is to focus on the video. Like how you look, how am I going to put that together, you know what I mean? So I respect that, you know what I mean? So people remember, like, share, subscribe. Another episode of the Perspectives podcast. Shout out to Shelly.
Yeah, man, bro. Respect.
We look forward to that amazing performance at the music festival. You don't know greatness. Once you're in St. Kitts and Nevis and you need a ride, SKN Cabs is the way. Yeah, don't forget that. SKN Cabs. You can book your trips between St. Kitts or Nevis. You know it goes. So until next time, Perspective Media. Well,
Shock them.
Perspectives Media.